Hey, my name is R.A. Graves. I'm a Christian fiction author. I write novellas, so they're short enough for your busy life, and they're Christian fiction, so they're deep enough to address the human condition. And it all takes place in a land called Shunderland. Today I want to read a short story to you. It's about a grandfather who finally makes good on a promise to his grandson to take him camping, but he had no idea that this was going to be his last opportunity to do so. So, if you have your passport, let's go to Shunderland. The catch. After turning 75, I refined my life to the essentials. I have a chair in my daughter's house. It's upholstered. It has a pop-out footrest that I seldomly use because it's hard to get back in. I own a portable radio, powered by 4 clunky batteries. They die frequently, but then everything does. That's the catch. If you want to live, you have to die. There used to be a cord, but it was chewed off by rats ages ago. It was Friday, so I was in my chair, footrest out. The radio crackled on the side table. The baseball game was about to start, something from the States and months old, but I didn't care. It was all magic to me, the way it was packaged to soar through the air and land, a perfect strike on the tip of my antenna. I tried to understand it, just believed in it. I was a simple, lifelong Shunderlander. Never once have I left the yellow land. I enjoyed the beauty and mystery that came to me, and baseball was just one of them. About the 3rd inning, my chair shook. It was my grandson. He was coming to collect on a promise. "Let's go camping." "Not tonight," I said. By that I meant not ever on a Friday night. That was when the games were on. Saturdays were out too because his mother, my daughter Ann, and I both agreed it was not worth missing church. Really, the true problem was all the questions kids start asking at about his age. Not where do babies come from. I mean the hard stuff. Like, why does God let dads die in car accidents? Stuff like that. The kind of questions you think you might know half the answer to, and they always come at the worst times. Regardless, I did make a promise. I thought I was sincere, but it was 2 years ago and in the middle of the week when it meant very little. I've been pushing it off ever since. Why couldn't he want to play catch? I was always good for a game of catch. Sam was more persistent than usual. He went and dug out all the camping gear and piled it on the front porch where I could see it from my chair. I caught Ann walking by and pointed out the problem. She only pointed out the obvious. The boy just wants to go camping with his grandpa. I sighed at a long foul ball. It wasn't like he could go with his father. "But my footrest is out," I said. She gave me a little smirk to let me know she wasn't going to do anything about it. I wasn't getting away with pushing it off. Not even one more night. In all fairness, 2 years is a lot of Friday night baseball games. It's also about a quarter of Sam's life, and God only knows how little time I had left to make good on the promise. I worked the wooden lever on the side of the chair and got out of my comfortable plan for the evening. Then I helped Sam load the gear into the back of the pickup. I helped him, not the other way around, and still, it tired me out. I told Ann exactly where we would be camping, then climbed into the cab. Sam brought nothing but excitement. I brought my radio. I set it on the center console, then started the 30-minute drive to Elkhorn National Park. There was a full moon and it had me thinking about baseball. It was a beautiful night for baseball. Most summer nights are. I'd grown up hearing it in the invisible wind, seeing it only in full moons and in the right angles of freshly mowed fields. We were passing such fields now, left and right. I was in no hurry. It took a bit longer than it should have, but we reached our campsite all the same. I parked the truck and did my best to help Sam unload. Setting up the tent drained my energy. Luckily, Sam had plenty for both of us. I mostly explained how and where, and he put all the pegs and holes and loops together. I only helped when necessary, and felt more tired than I ought. I don't know if it's all the fault of age, or my reliance on the soft reclining chair, but after everything was up, I crawled in like a bear, eager for hibernation. I had refrained from turning the radio on until the tent was up. My eternal clock put it at the 6th inning. I had some time. I love that about baseball. It's a perfect game that carries on at about the exact pace of life. It was not a good night for camping. The weather was fine, but at my age, it is always too cold, and the ground is always too hard. I got as comfortable as possible, and then, at last, I fiddled with the radio knob and the tilt of the antenna. To my childlike delight, my little radio caught the signal, a good texture of static in the background. It was the 9th. I put my hands over my face in shock. The whole thing had gotten away from me, but I made the most of it, staring up at the baseball moon through the mesh roof. If you're just tuning in, you missed a magical one tonight. Perhaps there's some magic left in the hat as we play this top of the 9th, just 3 outs away from hanging on to victory. Sam's question started right on schedule. Grandpa, how deep is the earth? And the 3-1, low but called strike. It's really deep, I said. He's not going to get away with too many more like that. How high is the sky? The 3-2 swung on and missed. And just like that, we inch closer. The crowd is loving it tonight. Take a look, I said. But the moon was big and bright and kept the eye from gazing past into the depth of the night sky. Sam must have tried. He was quiet long enough for the next batter to foul a few off, and the runner to steal third unchecked. How does the moon stay up? Sam wondered aloud. Gravity, I said. I knew that one. Gravity is what would make it come down, Sam said. He was right. What did I know? I let it go because there was a full count and we were 1 strike away from winning it all. Is Dad in heaven? There it was, right on cue. The payoff pitch. There was a crack distinctly different than the static. Hit well, high, going back. It's going to be close, to the track, to the wall. Static flooded in and drowned the reception. No, no, no. I whipped the antenna left and then right. After a good minute or two, I finally gave up. It was no use. It was too late. I turned the radio off and pushed it to the corner. I was tired. I could still hear the static in my head. I could see it, as blurry and eye-straining as the mesh. I'm sorry, Grandpa. Is it because we're camping? Oh, no, I lied. It was the crowd. Sometimes if they get too excited, it interferes with the signal. Really? I think so, I said. I laid on my back like a dead man because my old body couldn't lay any other way. I stared at the mesh-covered moon and couldn't help but feel like it was mocking me, paused up there as it was. Would it ever come down? Would it land in the grass, in a glove, over the wall? It mattered. It was the difference between a win and a loss. I must have drifted off 1, 2, 3 times. Each time I woke, the moon was further along, coming up and towards me like a slow-motion pop fly. It was so close that I reached up. The moon was right there and I plucked it. It was exhilarating. I heard a crowd cheering my name. That's the game, folks. I can't believe it. Grandpa wins it. Grandpa wins it. Sam shook my shoulder vigorously. Grandpa, someone moved the tent. I heard the words, but they were not sinking in. All I could think of was the moon and how it felt cold and dusty in my hand. My eyes popped open to a baby blue sky tinted by mesh. Sam's words loud and repeating in my ear. No one could have moved the tent, I told myself. The sky? The heavenly bodies? Perhaps, but not the tent. I was surprised by the speed of the night, but as I sat up, I saw a bigger surprise. Someone did move the tent. Through the mesh, I saw a baseball diamond. A quiet and patient audience filled the stands, their murmuring like the low hum of a radio. I turned quickly to look behind me. Outfield grass, warning track, tall home run wall, just as I always pictured on the radio. I fought my way out of my sleeping bag and into a panic. I guess my plan was to go out there, see if it was real. Could it be touched? Or was it a trick of the eye, of the mesh? I unzipped the tent and told Sam to stay put, and then slipped out. The grass was real on my bare feet. I scuffed through shallow center field toward the third baseline. The further I got, the less the crowd sounded like radio hum and more like voices, the squeal of reception. They were singing. Take me out to the ball game? No. When the Saints go marching in. That was it. The stadium lights blasted on. I heard them like a single blow from a trumpet. The blue sky fled, and a white blinding glow took its place. The crowd broke its patience and cheered eagerly. I could not help but gaze up into the perfect whiteness. I felt my feet lose their weight on the ground, the tips of the grass tickling at my soul. That's when I knew. The game was over. I forced myself back to the tent for Sam's sake. He had obeyed me. I saw his face pressing sadly against the mesh. "You're going to leave, aren't you?" he asked. "It's going to be okay," I said as I zipped us in. I did not want to leave the boy alone, and for that, I only had one idea. It was beyond silly, but the radio was always like magic to me anyway. I pulled it to myself and twisted the knob slowly. I trolled the stations, FM and AM. Ann, are you out there?" Sam watched hopefully. I heard something familiar, the clearing of a throat. I fine-tuned it and found her voice. "Hello? Hello, who's there? Ann, can you hear me? Hello? Dad, is that you? Is everything okay? What time is it?" "Everything's fine," I said. We need a favor." "Wait, where are you? Where are you calling from?" The reception went crazy. I knew she had jumped out of bed and was moving. I adjusted the antenna until it was steady again. "We're at the campsite. I need you to come get Sam." "What? What do you mean? What's happening?" "It's amazing," I said. I don't know how to explain it. Just come get Sam." "Dad, you're scaring me." "Oh, no, Ann, nothing scary. It's just so amazing. Listen, come and get Sam and then you'll understand." "I'm coming. Stay on the line." "I love you, Ann. You're such an amazing mother." "Dad? Dad?" The reception was gone. I messed with the knob and the antenna, but could not reach her again. A do-over would be nice, but still, I had no better words to say. "Well," I said, "that ought to scare her out here at least." Sam was holding something. It looked like a baseball to me, but it was anciently pale and missing its laces. I took it from him. "Ha! It was still cold." "What is it?" Sam asked. "It's a good catch, I guess. Do you want to play?" We took the little moon out to the field and tossed it back and forth. The crowd was amused and delighted over every toss and catch. They were on their feet, clapping, throwing their arms up, hands open, faces shining. "The earth is only so deep, Sam." I had to speak loudly over the cheering. "It's a specific number because we only have a certain number of days here." Mine were done. Even as I spoke, I was losing connection with the ground. The lights were feeling warm. I was growing all but helpless to float up into them. The sky, on the other hand, the sky keeps going up forever because the afterlife is eternal. I caught a throw and held the moon. I wanted Sam to hear my next words clearly, to understand them. I had to yell, "I'm going to heaven, Sam." Sam nodded. "I think I'll see your dad there." He nodded all the harder. The crowd was growing louder by the minute. He believed, like I do, and to everyone who believes, he gives the right to be sons of God. You've heard that, haven't you? Sam hadn't stopped nodding. The crowd erupted with praise. Sam erupted with silent weeping. I sent the moon over with a prayer that Sam would believe. It landed as softly as a summer's evening in his hands. Just as it did, his shoulder scrunched up. Sam got real still. He began to look around. "I think I hear Mom calling me." His shoulder moved again, as if someone was gently nudging it. I walked over to him. "It's time for you to wake up," I said. "What about you?" He already knew, so I just smiled and took the moon from his hand. I glanced up because I was hearing a call too. A multitude singing. My heart was nudging upward. A tear came down Sam's cheek. "I don't want you to go." I grabbed him and hugged him hard. It was the opposite of what needed to happen, but I couldn't help myself. I forced myself to let go and showed him the moon. "Look, whenever you see the moon coming across the sky, you'll know it's coming from me. We're playing catch." Sam began to sway, and I stepped away, realizing it was Anne, rocking him awake. And then he was gone, just like a beautiful dream leaves when you wake up. But it was like I was the one that was waking up. I was awake. I was alive. I was above the earth, my feet off the ground, my face craning up into the light, my body transforming from a mere signal into something real. And then I was received. In the tent, Sam woke, jolting up quickly. Anne told him to come to the car, and he did so. She might have wondered why he didn't ask any questions. Why are you here? Why is Grandpa staying in the tent? Certainly she would have had some questions of her own. Their drive was slow and careful. The moon was still full and high, lighting their faces, hers pale and sullen, his wet and shining. Back in the tent, the closest thing to life was the buzzing of the radio. "What a beautiful night for a ball game. We've put another in the history books." The end. Alright, I hope you liked the story, guys. I am on my lunch break in my car with my windows open, my sky roof's open, and there are a bunch of cicadas in the tree above me. I apologize if anything took away from the story that you might have heard. I know I heard a plane go over. I heard a train. I heard some church bells in the background. I'll try to edit out what I can. Otherwise, I'll just assume that it adds to the story. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to tell me what you think of the story in the comments. And while you're at it, why don't you go over to that like button and tell him a little story about how good this story was. And you can also subscribe to this channel. And when you do, it's like putting a bookmark into YouTube. So you can always find this channel again and always get another great story. If you want to know more about me and what I write, I'll put a link in the description below. Until next time, remember Christ, the author of salvation and the reader of your hearts.